Inniu tá méid bualadh leis an ealaíontóir Eileen MacDonagh I Visual Carlow. San ionad ealaíne seo tá chathair danlan ann, agus tá an taspántas chur le chéile le saothar sean agus nua. Tá ag tnú go mór an príomhsaothar Echo Cathedral sa príomh danlan. Eileen MacDonagh, we're in Visual in the main gallery for your exhibition Lithosphere. This is the main gallery itself now with a piece called Cathedral, and I'm very interested in it. Instantly, I'm overpowered by it. Its sheer presence. It looks like limestone and I want to touch it, but can you tell me a little bit maybe about this piece first of all?
Okay, well, you said it looks like limestone. It does a little because it's the same blue colour, but it's not. It's polystyrene covered with paper mache. It was the room that inspired the whole thing, this space. This main gallery here is 30 metres long, 16 wide and 11 metres high. So I had this idea of a forest, of an installation that would occupy all of the space.
I'm dwarfed by it. I feel like it's Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, well, they're 8 metres high and they are awe-inspiring. In the building of cathedrals, this is where the idea came from. These columns, it was like the soaring columns and the branches, you know, buttressing out to hold up the structure.
And it is monumental.
Yeah, it's monumental, yeah. I'm getting one chance now to do something awesome.
Eileen, you've been practicing as a sculptor for 30 years now and collecting granite, it seems, and this is what we're looking at now, or part of your collection in the Link Gallery.
Yeah, well, all of the stone that I have here is all granite, and it's stone that I have literally collected over the years. From 1995, I think, is the earliest piece. Granite, it's the oldest material on the planet, and it's the youngest material because it's still being born in volcanoes. All of these stones here are exactly as they are found. I haven't cut them off, or I haven't halved them or changed the shape of them. The shape of them is as they are now.
And why didn't you alter the size, if you like?
Because they were beautiful stones to begin with.
You really appreciate.
Yeah, and you see, just to change them, and that's the trick, you know, as an artist, to intervene in a way that you're not going to destroy the integrity of the stone as it was, but intervene in such a way that it kind of moves it from being a stone or being a rock or whatever it is to a piece of sculpture. I got this done in 1995. I won a scholarship to go to Sweden, where they have a big stone industry, to come and work with granite. I thought I would be working in a stone yard with little offcuts and stuff, and we visited the quarry, and I couldn't believe that in their quarries that they were able to quarry out huge blocks of stone like this with very little drill marks or very little intervention from tools and so on. It's because it's laid down so evenly. You know, it's laid down horizontally in beds, whereas our granite here in Ireland is laid down at an angle. So I was just noticing this and marvelling at the idea of getting a stone so perfect. And then they said, oh, you can have this stone. You know, so that's how I ended up with it. And then I had to come up with an idea to do something. I mean, it's a big stone, so you had to make a big statement or a strong statement. So I fixed on this idea of cutting out these pockets from the top and bottom. Now, this was difficult work because you were working in a very narrow space with a small angle grinder, and the dust coming up was coming in your face all the time and going in behind the goggles, and it's grit, you know, it's sand that's coming off it.
It's a statement piece. I love it. It's like an altar or a tomb or a coffin.
Yeah, it has a great presence. You know, it's 8 ton. This stone is 7.5, 8 ton. It took 2 forklifts to take it in here.
Everything's really dramatic with stone. It has feeling when you stand beside it.
Yeah. What you're doing as an artist is you're giving it its own intelligence, and then it can survive as itself. It can communicate then on whatever level, and it can affect people one way or the other.
Eileen, this exhibition really is a lifetime achievement for you. How does it feel right now?
It really is wonderful to see it all here, especially the stone. To me, they're all like brothers and sisters, all related, but they're here together as a family for the first time.
I love how accessible the exhibition is and that all works are tangible.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm living in the physical world. A lot of art today is in the kind of virtual world. I mean, the physical world and is so beautiful and so wonderful. Like I'm always wondering how people can spend so much time behind the computer or at the computer. That's what my art is about. I suppose it's about material, shape, form. And these forms are very, very tactile, very, very touchable. Kids love coming in and rubbing them and touching them. And of course I say, yes, everything can be touched. I like to see people, because you can't fully experience it unless you touch it. And that's kind of the success of it, is that you want to touch it. You're kind of drawn in to touch it, to feel it. This is where I have absolutely cut into the stone from every direction. These shapes are completely and utterly three-dimensional. This is the icosahedron. So this shape is a universal shape, it's not my shape. If you can imagine that before, that's a triangle there, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So there are 20 of those making up this volume. It's a complicated shape, and I made lots of mistakes when I started making them in the beginning, because if you're working on this and one of your triangles isn't right, eventually they're all not right. It's just an amazing fact that a Stone Age man, had actually kind of discovered this shape, and I discovered it in this century. And they're called the Platonic solids because Plato used these, in Plato in all his kind of discourses and so on. He used these shapes as kind of a metaphor to show people that when everything is in harmony, because in this icosahedron all the other shapes are contained, the cube, the tetrahedron, and so on. And he used this shape then as a metaphor for when the universe is in harmony, when everything is in nature, it has its place and everything is in balance. In today's world, the big symbols are McDonald's, Nike, Coca-Cola, so on. We need new symbols. If you think back on our symbols of standing stones and high crosses and so on, like what we're making now in public art are new symbols. Something new, something, outside of ourselves, something interesting that you can relate to.